No, it started less with civilizational matters than with my midlife crisis.
Where did it start?
It started with me looking in the mirror and not seeing a fairly young guy there. He was not seeing him. He's such an imposter. That photo was taken 9 years ago. This is the worst part of my job. I walk around seeing younger versions of myself. It's like being Dorian Gray in reverse. I turn into this hideous... this is young, smiley, young author photos are everywhere. It's awful. Yeah. So there in the mirror, my ears are getting bigger as my head shrinks and the lines are coming here, and I look more like my dad every day. And you essentially need to reevaluate your relationship with mortality, because when you're young, you can view death as this abstract concept over the horizon that happens to unlucky people or to the elderly, but not to me. But of course, you go through life and mile by mile and year by year, the journey goes on, and you're suddenly not young anymore, and gradually not young anymore, but suddenly you realise it. And there were people, people actually stopped. People continue to be born after 1969. I always thought they stopped when there were people. And then when you have to put in your date of birth online, you have to scroll down further and further.
I recognise it. Guardian published that you will publish a new book in October.
Yeah.
Slade House.
Yes.
And this is explain. How does it... What's the relationship to bone clocks? There are some...
The bone clocks had an early shift of direction. Often when you're writing a book in the first, and for the writers in the audience who are not yet published, if you spend 6 months or a year working on a manuscript and then look at it and realise, hang on, this isn't actually the book I wanted to write, don't worry, that's a really good thing, because that will get you to the book that you do write, that you do want to write, that is the right book, but you couldn't have got to there without the first one. So first drafts, first manuscript, early manuscripts are, you think it's the Antonia Gaudi cathedral that you're building. It often just turns out to be scaffolding. That's okay. You need scaffolding to build anything good. But the scaffolding for the bone clocks had quite a strong idea, I felt, about essentially a house which becomes a kind of machine, an occult, esoteric machine that does the same as the anchorites in the bone clocks. It provides a kind of longevity beyond death. The horologists are kind of like the Ghostbusters. They find these anomalies around the world, from place to place, from decade to decade. People create these occult, esoteric devices to provide longevity for themselves at the expense of us bone clocks, us ordinary human beings who live and die in the ordinary tick, tick, tock, 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 ching, time up way.